We're here at Grigsby now, trying to help Mike out with these coyote problems. We've got this much ground to cover, and we're going to drive the main roads and just kind of look. Now we can see where there's some drainages, but we're going to look for drainages, and we're going to look for grass waterways, places that coyotes would normally travel. And I've done this long enough, I can usually look at a spot even a half mile off and say, well, that's where I want to put my trap. But if you haven't got the experience to do that, you got to drive by every little lane, every little wrinkle, and just use your eyeballs. Get out and look for tracks, look for sign, droppings, that kind of thing. We're going to go up here and we've got a couple of grass lanes we're going to look at and likely set them too. We're going to go ahead and set a trap right here. And how we choose this spot, you notice there's a lot of timber out here too, and we could set anywhere in there, but we'd be loaded up with possums and coons. What we want is coyotes. So we're going to stay out in the open to try and avoid the non-target animals. Those coyotes will run the edges of these fields and these grass lanes in hopes of finding a mouse or a rabbit. You know, of course, they'll chase any deer they find too. So we're going to go right here at this point and put a set in right now, and we'll find out tomorrow if we do any good. Most of the females are bred or about to get bred in a minute, and they're very territorial. In other words, the mated pair will not tolerate other coyotes in their area. So we're going to use bait, but we're also going to use urine, which is how coyotes communicate with each other. So this is going to be an invitation where that strange coyote has come into territory that's already spoken for and made a food stash or a cache, you know, where he's caught something and buried it. And we'll cross stake every trap because we don't want a coyote pull a stake and run off with a trap on his foot. Now the way we've got that crossed, there's no coyote can ever pull it out. You notice this trap has multiple swivels. There's two here and there's two here, so that coyote can spin around all night. And this is a triple laminated trap. In other words, you can see I've had metal welded onto the top and the bottom both, so that is not a thin jaw. So the trap cannot cut the skin, it cannot break any bones. Once that coyote's in, there's no way he can get out, and he can't injure his foot either. Now we're going to pack a little dirt around here, just enough the trap's not wobbly. And then I'm going to dig my bait hole. And we put that at an angle. With the fresh dirt out front, it's supposed to give the appearance of where a coyote has dug a hole and either dug out a mouse or buried some food, something along those lines. And we're going to put this little pan cover on. That's just wax paper. And the function of that is make sure no dirt or duff gets underneath the pan. Put a little peat moss on, and that's in case it rains or freezes. The trap will still be functional. Then we'll use the native dirt in the area and cover that over. And then we'll take this duff that's left over and we'll kind of guide him a little bit, because they don't like to walk on rough places, just like we don't like to. Take our gloves off. We're going to use our Hubin's cat cream here, which is actually rotted bobcat meat with some other ingredients in it. It's pretty stinky stuff. That's our bait. Then we're going to use pure coyote urine. And I collect this myself from live coyotes I have in cages, so I know it's the real deal. Then we'll kind of kick out our tracks a little bit here, spread things out. And there'll be some sight appeal to any coyote that would run this farm lane just by the roughed up dirt. That's all there is to it. We'll come tomorrow and hopefully we'll have a coyote. We're on location, but this is a coon path, so we may have a lot of problem with coons before we catch a coyote. One thing I'm going to do a little different here is I'm just going to use nothing but urine in hopes to avoid the raccoons, but not the coyotes. I'm going to dig my bait hole just like I always do. Well, the only thing I'm going to squirt down it is coyote urine, which won't guarantee the coons won't bother the trap, but that's the plan. Just the fact that this set shows fresh dirt and a hole is attractive. And we put the pea right down the hole. That's all we're going to do on this one. And hopefully we won't load up on coons. This is it for today. We'll run all these traps again tomorrow and have high hopes. The weather looks good, dry. No fronts coming in for a few days. So I think we'll have a good run. It's mid-March right now, and the reason we're trapping in mid-March instead of November and December is the life cycle of the coyote is that when mom and dad have the pups in the spring, they stake out a territory, and the two adult coyotes and anywhere from 4 to 6, sometimes more pups, defend that territory all summer. But come November and December, the adult coyotes will run them off. So if you trap in November and December, there's a constant influx of coyotes all November, December, and into January. But by then, the coyotes have found their home range, and that's where two adults will stay and raise pups the following spring. So, not to say that every coyote that's killed in November and December is a bad thing, but it doesn't help your spring fawning. What helps your spring fawning is no coyotes in the country in April and May. We know right now, this time of the year, there's two adults everywhere, but the pups are all gone. And our goal is to catch the pregnant female and the male, and there will be no migration of coyotes through the summer months. So we can keep this ground free of coyotes a very short time, because next November and December, coyotes will flood in from everywhere again. But we can protect the fawns by having no coyotes in April and May, and that's what we're doing here now. So we're not going to catch the numbers that we could catch in the fall, but we're going to catch the coyotes to count. And every female we catch now is like catching 8. I bet that's the old dog. We'll find out here in a minute. This one's male. The way he was howling, I just figured he was probably the dominant male, and sure enough he is. We just caught that great big male, and here's one right here just an 1/8 of a mile away, and I'll bet that's the female. Yep, that's the female. She looks like she's getting kind of big in the belly there too, hanging down a little bit. So we did our job here, and she's an aged coyote, not old, but she's the mate to that male we just caught. And you can bet she's got a belly full of pups. I'm going to go ahead and reset this trap, even though we caught the adult male just over the hill and the adult female right here, just on the chance there's a helper one or a traveler through. I'm guessing this is the last coyote here. I think we've just, caught the mated pair, and that's probably all that's here this time of the year. If it were fall, we'd stay and catch 7 or 8. Here's today's catch. We caught 6 today. I thought sure we'd catch a couple more, but sometimes they zig when I zag. The first day I was here, I got most of the traps out. We caught 4, and yesterday we caught 6, and today 6. And I've got 4 or 5 more runs too, so we'll be up 30 or 40 off of the Grigsby before it's done, and I think Mike Stroff will be real happy with that. I'm sure we'll save him several fawns, and hopefully save him not having his deer hunters ready to shoot, and here comes a pack of coyotes. There's a real nice one there, and we will go ahead and skin him. This is a natural resource, and I think it's our obligation to not waste it if we can do that and still get our predator control goals met.